What I wanted to talk about a little bit is the rest of the car, how this all comes together from a customer standpoint. And I'm actually going to start out with quality. I think what you are experiencing and what we talked about today was this revolutionary propulsion system with a battery, with EV range, with an extended range, and that's all great. But we wanted to make sure we built upon that and delivered a vehicle experience that was really unmatched. And we believe we've done that. So if you just start on the exterior of the car and you look at the, the precision styling, the way we've inlaid certain features in the vehicle, the LED tail lamps, the blue hue on the headlamps, it's a very sophisticated looking design, a very precise, and frankly it's a very handsome design. It doesn't yell or scream that it's something different than a very precise, handsome vehicle. We have a Goodyear tire that was developed especially for this car. It's the lowest rolling resistance tire we've got. But what I'm almost more proud of is how well the car handles and brakes with that tire. We've crossed new boundaries of balance as you do in tires and trade-offs. So the driver gets to experience that entire tuning, and it has kind of a sporty feel to the car. The car does not feel lethargic, it changes lanes quickly. It's certainly a heavier car than most at this size because of the 450-pound battery, but we think we've really developed a package that handles quick and nice. And then the final piece was the N&B. We did a lot for noise and vibration, from the acoustic laminated windshield to the significant amount of effort for body sealing to reduce the external noise of the car. And what that does, of course, is it builds off the fact that in EV mode, there's no normal engine noise happening. And so when you drive the car, it's a very quiet, very pleasing experience. You get on the accelerator and you get very quick, nimble acceleration. You change lanes, you get a quick, nimble feel, and you get none of the unpleasant noise. Even when we get into extended range mode, as I think some of you have felt and will feel later today, when the engine comes on, it's muted, it's in the background, as Larry kind of talked about. It's filling up that battery and it's assisting a bit at the highway speeds, but it's very kind of put in the background. Also from a safety standpoint, we have 8 airbags in the car. We have 2 frontal airbags, we have 2 knee bags, we have side, and then we have head curtain bags. So we put a lot of content in the vehicle: N&B, ride and handling, safety, anti-lock brakes, and stability control are standard on the car. The first year navigation is standard, so very highly contented, a lot of quality, and a great driving experience for the customer.
What I want to start is in the back here, because we spent a lot of time talking about the battery. You can see it here with it. See, maybe just kneeling down. That might be the best thing to do. Okay. Here it is with the aero panel, right? Here's the bar that I was telling you about that stays in the vehicle should the battery pack come out, okay? And then that's, of course, one of our major sources of energy in the vehicle. Our other source of energy is obviously the fuel tank, okay? And I think you heard Larry talk about the fact that this is a sealed fuel system, okay? Because we don't know when the engine is going to run again so that we can handle and manage evaporative emissions, right? It might be weeks before that happens. So what we do is we actually seal the entire system, so we have a steel tank, because this may be under pressure, okay? I'm not talking 20 PSI and those kinds of things, but we're, I think, maximum around 3 PSI, but that's still significant when you think of a tank of this size, okay? Then we have some equipment in here. If you take away the electrical here, you'll see a canister, charcoal canister, that we will use during refueling and for holding the hydrocarbons until we do start the engine and do burning, okay? Just like in a typical car. Now, when you're refueling, though, because the system may be under pressure, you can't just open the cap, right? You actually push a button which was near the charge port button. I don't know if you saw it. It's actually just above the charge port door button. You push that. What it does is it starts the process of depressurizing the tank through the canister. Okay? And then when it's done, it says ready to refuel, and it unlocks the door. While we're back here, I'm just going to point out our rear suspension, axle, springs, and brakes, and talk a little bit about that. Okay? This is our twist axle. It has been custom tuned for the Volt, as well as these arms here have had a number of mass reduction changes made, again, to tune it in specifically for the Volt, both in its capability and handling, okay? We also did a lot of work on the bushings, okay? We actually now have hydraulic bushings here tuned, again, specifically to help coarse road noise not get up into the body. So that, and then looking up here again, and I know I'm in the way a little bit, so I'll try to get out of the way a little bit here. Our brake system, again, disc brakes. Didn't have to make too many modifications to them for our car here, but we do have a special coating on the discs that we'll be using first in this vehicle as well as then other vehicles to help us with the fact that you're going to do a lot of braking with regen. We don't want the surface quality to get bad, and then the first few times you're putting on the brakes have it feel grabby, things like that. Okay, so we're working that into the vehicle as well. You'll notice, really, you'll see our grill up here with the Chevrolet bow tie. You look at that and you say, well, there really are, if you look from this angle, you can see there's really only air passage opportunities around the edge, okay? And that's really there for aerodynamic reasons, right? We want to limit the amount of airflow that's coming up there so we can get a better, smoother flow, but we still need cooling air. The bulk of it is coming through this area right here, okay? So we've tuned the size of that area, we've tuned what's going on up there, so we're getting just enough airflow to do what we need to do, even in the worst case, climbing hills, etc., those kinds of things.